Hello folks, Jason Chrisman, JC's Bees, your Central Ohio beekeeper. Today is February 25th, 2026. Boy, that sounds weird. And we're already into the second month and it still sounds weird. 2026. Anyway, today we're going to be discussing Swarm Commander and swarm traps. It's not so much going to be on how to set a swarm trap, just my experiences with Swarm Commander and my opinions on Swarm Commander. If you want to learn how to set up a swarm trap and bait bees and get you some swarms moving in, I'll link a video up here in this corner that I made years ago. And in that video, everything still qualifies today, even though it's an older video. Nothing's changed in the bee world and what they react to as far as swarm traps. So if you're interested in setting swarm traps, I'll link the video up here. I'll also put it at the end of this video, so maybe you want to watch all this and then pick it up at the end. So anyway, let's get right into my experiences using Swarm Commander in 2025. So before we get into swarm capturing and Swarm Commander, first let's talk about why bees swarm to begin with. We'll take nature for instance, is the cavity of the tree that the bees are living in. The bees have outgrown. Spring provides an abundant amount of forage and protein for the bees, and with that the colony grows, and it isn't long that that cavity is now too small to hold all the bees. So what will happen is the queen will start to lay some queen cells in queen cups, and then she will take half the colony and she will leave, therefore swarm. This is something that can be managed if done correctly in your own colonies, but a lot of times it's real easy for this to happen. The colony just grows way too quick. Bees fly 50, 75, maybe 200 yards away, and they'll find something to cluster on until one of the scout bees that's flying out and coming back to this cluster of bees comes back and says, "Hey, I found a new home for us." And then they will all up and leave and go to that new home. But until then, a lot of times they'll hang on trees, mailboxes, bushes, different things of that sort. Now, let's discuss my experiences with Swarm Commander in 2025. Now check this out. Put some Swarm Commander in this box. And Swarm Commander is a lure that releases a scent that smells like a scent that the bees put off when they're in a swarm mode. And that scent comes from the bees' nasonove gland. So I put some of this lure in this box about 5 days ago. I come out here now, there's a few bees flying around it. Moved the box, set it off to the side so I could get in here and look for my weed eater string. Didn't notice the swarm until I got back in the Honda to go weed eat. And then I look over here, I was like, oh crap, there's a swarm. So I've since put this box back up there. I'm going to take this stick, or board if you will, it's a furring strip, and I'm going to lay it over here, and I'm going to take the other end and we're going to make these bees move out of the way so I can lay it up here, and what you'll see is them move across. Now I just seen the butt of the queen bee. Now she's obviously moved now, but so what we'll see is these bees walk across this to get over here and enter their new hive. Okay, so it's been about 35 minutes now, and I did use my smoker to smoke them out from underneath here and push them up, and then they kind of sat there. I watched a few go up the board, but look here, we are marching. Now I'm hoping we'll get a chance to witness the queen marching across here. That's going to be tricky because I'm going to have to play both sides of this board. Over the last 30 minutes or so I have witnessed her a couple times, but she's quick to go back into the center of the cluster. I've got my queen catcher right here in my hand. Look at them go. Alright, so you just seen what Swarm Commander can do for you. Now let me show you how Swarm Commander is used, and let's talk a little bit about it. So I'm up here at our leased farm, out in a wood setting, and last year I found the swarm right in this area, so I'm going to go ahead and place this trap here. And in this trap, I've already stuck one of these Swarm Commander lures, and with these particular lures, inside this tubing, see if I can get one out here. This tubing is actually cased in plastic. On the inside is a glass vial. So what you do is you break the middle right here where my fingers are. You can either squeeze it or just smack it with your hive tool. And what that does is releases the Swarm Commander down here in this end and allows it to get up on that cotton swab. And then you drop it down in here. I've already done that, so we've got that step taken care of. But let me show you some of these frames here. All old drone comb. So be a nice swarm trap here. On the outside, I'm gonna go ahead and put one spritz of this, maybe some on this fern, and some right here on around the entrance. I'm gonna go ahead and throw on the lid, and since this is styrofoam and we have storms brewing today, I brought a brick. So let's go ahead and give a spray of that. There we go. Trap is set, and we will have to keep a close eye on it over the next couple weeks. Because now I know from my bees at the house, it is time for swarming to start. So I'll put all this stuff back in my handy dandy little Walmart bag, and we'll take a step back and look at the setting here. So it would be nice to have it off the ground, but I don't see that being a deterrent. I think this honeysuckle right here is where the swarm was last year. So they were relatively close to the ground anyway. It was down on one of those lower limbs. So ought to be a good spot for a swarm trap. I checked this swarm trap for the next couple of weeks, and sadly, I have to tell you, this trap caught nothing. Well, not nothing. It did have a few ants in it, but no bees. Alright, so we're getting ready to set another trap. This time I'm at the farm, in the pasture. We're going to set this one underneath the fence. So to crack it, you just squeeze it, it breaks. As you can see, turn it, let it all wick down onto the cotton swab, and we'll drop it down in there. Relatively easy. Put back on our inner cover, our outer cover. So let me show you the setting here. We've got it there underneath the fence, which I am running new wire, so it looks a little bit wonky and laying on the ground and stuff. But anyway, this is the setting. Check it out. Yesterday I put the box on this post, sprayed some Swarm Commander in it. Today I've got bee activity. And they seem to be very excited about it. So looking around right here, and I don't see anything. Now this is the second swarm I've caught on this fence post in 15 years. I don't know. They got to be close. 9 days later, I caught a healthy sized swarm. I didn't get any video of that, and looking back, I wish I did. But here is some pictures just 15 days later when I brought the swarm box home and started to do a treatment for varroa mites. You can see the colony is very, very healthy. Over the next several weeks, I had several colonies move into several different swarm traps, all of them 5-frame nuke based. All of those traps had Swarm Commander in them, but I can't say that I actually truly captured every single one of those swarms. You see, 3 to 4 weeks later, a couple of those swarms that I captured flew away again, doing what we call absconding. That's just completely leaving without a trace. Alright, so let's break it down. Out of all of the Swarm Commander products, the glass vials, the sprays, the gel, the big hanging lure, I used all of those last summer except for the big hanging lure. I still have that brand new in the package to use this summer. I still have 3/4 to half a bottle of the gel and the spray, and I still have a couple vials in the glass vials. So I can see how the product would last 2 to 3 seasons if you were to purchase these. I could also see that maybe I overdone it by inserting a vial in the hive and also spraying on the outside, but on some of the colonies like the styrofoam box, there's not a whole lot of air circulation with that. So in order for the bees to smell it, I felt that I needed to apply some on the outside of that box in that situation. But this colony we're looking at here, it has a screened bottom. It has one of the glass vials on the inside of this, and this drew them right in. But this was able to get airflow up through the bottom, circulate that smell, and the smell coming from the Swarm Commander actually mimics the smell that bees put off when they're swarming. It's actually a pheromone that they put off by their nascent ove gland, which is on their butt. So if you see their butts in the air and they're fanning, that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to spread the nascent ove gland scent so that everybody can stay together, everybody knows where each other is, and I tell you, it's a lovely, lovely smell. So with this particular colony, I have the queen catcher cage in my hand, and I didn't really pay attention when I was holding the camera, but I've actually just captured the queen in the cage, and I know now that this swarm is going nowhere because I have their queen. But you know, when I think about it, is Swarm Commander improving my chances, or is there other things I should be thinking about when it comes to capturing swarms? In my honest opinion, I do think Swarm Commander is a helpful tool when it comes to capturing swarms, but I think there's a lot more that comes into play. You need to have your old drawn comb. You need to have, well, in the first place, you need to have your traps set in a place there's bees in. How many people just go out and set traps and don't take the time to really analyze, is there even bees in the area? I think that could be a major part of swarm capturing. You need to be in an area where there is feral bees, or where there is beekeepers that don't pay attention to their bees and they let them swarm. I don't think that Swarm Commander alone is going to increase your chances. I think there's a lot more to it than just that, but I do think it's an amazing product, and I do think it probably boosts your chances. If you take a brand new wooden hive body and you put some new frames in it, say there's some Amazon foundation in there that's probably got very little wax if they're plastic, and you put those in that box that you're going to use for a swarm trap, and keep in mind it's a brand new box, and we're going to hang that out there with those Amazon frames. We're going to give it a spritz of Swarm Commander, and that's going to be a swarm trap. And we compare that to a box that's been used for 2 or 3 years, maybe 10 years, that's got propolis in it and is putting off all kinds of bee pheromones. And we take some old frames with some old drawn comb, and we throw in that old box, and we use that for a swarm trap, and then we add Swarm Commander. Which one's going to have a better chance? I plan to set some traps again this spring, just here in a few weeks, and I'm going to use Swarm Commander once again. But I think if you're new to swarm capturing, you're new to bees, you should go over and watch my swarm trap baiting video and learn the missing pieces that you need besides Swarm Commander. If you're an experienced beekeeper and you've used Swarm Commander in the past, I would love to hear some of your experiences. What are your thoughts of Swarm Commander? Has it improved your capture numbers, or do you not notice a difference? I'd love to hear. And if you would like to try Swarm Commander, I'm going to give you a couple different options down in the video description. I'm going to give you a link over to Blythewood Bee Supply, and that's where the creator himself has his own bee shop and carries his product, and I can give you a discount there, and I can also offer you a discount via Amazon. So both those links will be down in the video description if you would like to try any of these products out. If you have any questions or comments, you can leave them down below. If you enjoyed today's video, please smash that thumbs up on the way out, and be looking for more of me, folks. I'm coming back.